Am I the asshole for being upset that my husband throws away dishes I forget to put away? I've always struggled with washing dishes right away, and sometimes they pile up in the sink. I usually end up washing them, but my husband hates this. A couple of weeks ago, he said that if he ever finds another dish in the sink, he's throwing it away in the garbage. There has not been a single dish in the sink. The rules have since changed to if he sees any dish anywhere in the house unattended, it goes in the trash. I forgot a water cup on the coffee table the other day that's now at the dump. I used a knife from the $100 knife set to open a package and forgot it out. It's now gone. Is my anger unreasonable, or does this situation indeed feel childish? Throwing out expensive quality utensils and dishes is crazy work. The issue is how her husband treats her. He can wash the dishes instead of throwing them out. It is, but so is using a $100 knife to open a package. There are so many better suited objects to opening a package. Either the husband is a nutcase or he's having a valid crash out. There's no in between. I absolutely agree with you that it's such a waste. But I would go mad too if my partner leaves dishes and such laying around. The best lesson is a painful one, as in a pricey item to replace will definitely help to get the wanted result. But is this a healthy way to deal with grievances in a relationship? Is this getting into a parent/child relationship? This sounds like abuse. You are not a kid he has to discipline. You are his partner, an equal. I understand the frustration and the ultimatum from his side. My wife keeps leaving dirty dishes in the sink. How do I get through to her? But now he's actively prowling for ways to punish you. Either resolve this by talking he gets one chance, or leave him. I can't see this situation getting better. Edited to add, some people have gotten into their feelings with, what if this were reversed? You wouldn't be crying divorce or abuse. There's also the missing reasons, people who think she must have done other things that somehow justify her partner's behavior. People, this is not about the genders or about if he's right. This is about the tone. Can't you see how scared she is? She may be wrong in her lack of cooperation with household chores, but this is not how you resolve it. If this is your partner, you talk. You find compromises and alternatives. You solve this as a team. Yeah, he is escalating because he doesn't want you to ever fully relax. He feels better when you are diligently catering to him. Aita, thanks for the awards. Anons. Agree. I literally said, this is abuse out loud when reading this. Yikes. Totally. This is so weird. I get being annoyed at dishes laying unattended for over 24 hours, but he's essentially saying original poster can't relax and act like they live in their own house. Also moving the goalposts, but upping it from dishes in the sink to dishes anywhere is so weird. It's like he's looking for any excuse to throw away original poster's belongings. Anytime someone takes something to an extreme like this just to prove a point, it's a red flag. I totally get how frustrating it must be to have a messy spouse who refuses to clean up after themselves, although that doesn't seem to be the case here, since original poster said there hasn't been any dishes in the sink for him to throw away. However, throwing out perfectly good kitchenware just because it was left out. If your spouse leaves their dirty laundry on the ground, are you going to burn it? Maybe if he had thrown out the first dirty dish in a fit of frustration, I might have understood the passion behind the crime. But continuously doing this feels manipulative. Right? Like my ex-husband couldn't figure out how to do dishes, and it drove me insane. The disrespect for taking care of our home was a factor in the divorce. But I would never consider throwing out dishes. That's odd, childish behavior. Everyone sucks here. Throwing away usable dishes and knives is an A thing to do. But having lived with and divorced a slob myself, I understand the rage that would cause this behavior over time. Edit to add. Now imagine this from original poster's husband's perspective. Additional edit to add. Some of y'all would probably benefit from learning how to clean as you go. Yup. Agreed. How many times has original poster's partner mentioned that it's a problem? There are things that you just let go when you're living with someone, but something as simple as please wash/put your dishes away or a knife should not be that difficult or easy to forget. Could be that he's a complete fucking asshole. Could also be that he's at his wit's end at telling original poster for the millionth time to please pick up after themselves, and that he's not allowing "I've always struggled with" underscore as an excuse anymore. How is one knife and a water glass a slob? My ex was a slob. I grew up in a very clean home, but a hoarder's home. A mess triggers me so fucking much, and I did the whole song and dance with him with long conversations and tears. Didn't work. But it didn't fucking make me abusive towards him. What kind of excuse is that? I am not saying what he is doing is okay, but this post leaves me with questions. It is always impossible to know the full picture from a post. While throwing these things away seems excessive, I do understand how a situation can get to the point of causing an extreme response. It is possible that the husband is an abusive a-hole. It is also possible original poster is a total slob, and the husband has been pushed beyond his limit and is tired of the disrespect of not caring for a shared space. Throwing stuff away like this is obviously problematic, but what got them here? Does original poster have a history of being egregiously disrespectful of shared space? Or is the husband just an ah? Either way, it sounds like grounds for one of them to leave the other. A healthy relationship shouldn't involve a partner throwing your things. It shouldn't involve them doing that, whether it is understandable to have been pushed to that point or not, and it shouldn't involve behaviors egregious enough that it pushes a partner to feel the need to do that. I have also been in a position with others who just would not clean up after themselves and always left me to do it. At my office, folks leave stuff out, let it clog up the sink, let the food in the sink get dried on and rotten. It is truly beyond me how it is that adults behave this way. I got so tired of being the only one to clean it up. No one else would deal with it, even when I let it sit and inconvenience them. How is it that slob behavior anything other than horribly disrespectful and entitled? Is it not arguably an abuse of the time of whoever is left to deal with the mess? Rather than throw things away, I washed everything up and then boxed up and hid the majority of the plates and utensils so that they'd be forced to clean their stuff, because otherwise there wasn't more clean plates to just grab out of the cabinet, and so that there was so few items that it'd be impossible to absolutely fill the sink with stuff, leaving it unusable. Eventually, I put back some of the items, but still not as much as before, because they only somewhat improved in taking care of their own messes. I tend to cringe at if the roles were reversed arguments, because emo, role reversal, when the broader context of the situation means it is not a truly equal comparison, is a weak argument in my eyes. I see people often make this type of argument when it comes to relationship problems in a hetero couple, and often think it is not an entirely fair comparison. However, this is one situation where I really do wonder how the response would have changed if this was a woman throwing away stuff that a man she is in a relationship fails to care for and leaves her to clean up. I would think many folks would still hold a woman accountable and telling her that it's not a reasonable thing to do, but I am inclined to think they'd also tell her if she feels pushed to the point of doing that. Then she should leave the relationship rather than getting left to pick up all the messes. I don't think the responses would be quick to assume that the male partner isn't actually leaving meaningful messes, and that it is nothing but a complete overreaction to throw things rather than understandable to feel pushed over the edge, even if the behavior isn't okay. In any case, to me, this is the symptom of a larger issue, and regardless of who is wrong, this seems like a dysfunctional relationship that maybe needs to end. Question: how long are these dishes left out? What does eventually look like? If you're leaving dirty dishes in the sink for days, therefore allowing them to pile up, and this has been an ongoing issue for him, then it's clear he resents you for this. What other chores are you staying on top of to compensate for your struggles with dishwashing? At first glance, this seems childish, but I have to wonder how long this has been a problem before he resorted to this nuclear adjacent option. Edited to add. Thank you for the award. Reddit stranger. Agree with you. There's a huge difference between if he is having unrealistic, perfect cleanliness standards all the time and dishes growing mold in the sink for a week, assuming it's probably somewhere between the two. Regardless, this is not a healthy solution to the problem. I would divorce over dishes before I would throw them in the trash. I'm wondering this too. Original poster glossed over the issue, so maybe it's good to play a little devil's advocate here. Is this like I left dishes in the sink for 10 minutes, or when mold begins to form, that's my cue to clean up kind of a thing? Even leaving them for a day is annoying. I don't want to have to clean the kitchen before I even start cooking, and then again after I cook. All that said, I would not throw away our own things over it. The first sane comment I've seen in this thread. This feels like a response to years of unheard frustration. My exact thought: If original poster is stay at home and isn't doing any chores and letting the dishes pile up for days at a time, I can see how the husband is very resentful and is escalating like this. It's not the best way to handle it, but I get the frustration. Info. This seems like a huge reaction, and I kind of think we are missing some context. What conversations did y'all have before this about the dishes? Have you had repeat conversations about this? Right? Classic example of missing reasons. With no context, it is impossible to render an opinion. Is this odd? Or is this disgusting slobbishness? This would likely be the top comment if the roles were reversed. There's not nearly enough context in the post to tell if this is an overreaction and sign of a controlling spouse or a situation where one side is at the end of their rope and fed up of cleaning up after the other. Edited to add. While not identical, like some of the other ones I've seen, another commenter pointed out that apparently there already is a post on here about a wife throwing away utensils, and the commenters justified her. The people in these stories always leave out a bunch of context to make themselves look better. No one is telling their partner they are going to start throwing out dishes after leaving one out. This has been an issue for years, and multiple conversations and strategies about it have resulted in no change. This is the next step. I'm guessing that's a yes. Most people don't go from ignoring dirty dishes in the sink for years to suddenly I'm throwing everything away if it's out. Original poster sounds like she's lazy. The knife example was something she didn't even need to wash. She just needed to put the knife back, and she didn't. I want to know how many times her husband asked her to do better before it got to this point. We had so many conversations with a roommate about leaving dishes to literally mold. It was driving the rest of us insane. So we started piling their dirty dishes on their bed. He was pissed. We kept getting his sheets dirty, but we were at our breaking point. Time to bust out the "she divorced me because I left dishes by the sink" article. Seems like your husband is in the position of the wife in the article. Exactly. There are plenty of posts here with the opposite issue. My partner doesn't clean up after themselves, and the advice people give is not very different from what original poster's husband is doing. Struggle to wash dishes sounds like weaponized incompetence. Except in that article, the wife left him. She didn't throw out things as punishment. When a relationship is untenable, it's time to go, rather than bully your partner into submission. Then he should leave, not punish/discipline his wife like a child. If you think this article is actually just about leaving dishes in the sink, you did not read or understand the article. There is not even remotely enough information in the post right now to tell if their relationship is like the one in this article. Her not doing the dishes fast enough does not automatically mean her husband is having to mother and manage her in other areas of the household, or that she's inconsiderate of his time/energy. My husband used to be like you, and after years of frustration and I'll stay on top of it, I too got flustered and took similar action without tossing stuff though. I would negotiate with him my method. That worked. When I'd find trash or old gross dishes laying around trash, often right next to the trash can more than 2 days, I'd put it in a box or bag and in his office. So he could physically see how much he left out rather than me cleaning up behind him every time he used anything. Letting food and cups sit around getting moldy is not only gross, but makes cleaning them take way longer. I just do not understand. Everyone sucks here. I have a drop it and forget it spouse, and this is exactly what I do. And did with our kids. I would sweep through the common areas, and anything belonging to someone that wasn't put away got put in their container and deposited in their room with the door closed so I didn't have to see it. I started that too. Instead of opening the trash can, my husband will put his trash on the counter right above the trash can, so congratulations, all that junk is going on his desk from now on. This sounds like the threats abusive parents make towards their children. If you don't clean your room right now, I'll throw away all your toys. Not like a way two adults in a relationship should solve issues. If he sees dishes in the sink and it bothers him, he could simply clean them himself too. He's being an asshole. So if a man leaves dishes on the coffee table, a woman should just clean them herself if she doesn't like it. Exactly. He's treating her like a poorly behaved child. My mom literally did this with me. She told me if anything was on the ground in my bedroom that it would get thrown away. And she followed through. This is abuse. Plain and simple. This is not what a loving relationship with an equal partner looks like. Original poster is being punished for something she can't help. She's not choosing to forget. Some people are just wired differently, and that doesn't mean there's something wrong with them. But instead of working with her to find a solution or gently remind her, or God forbid, do it himself. He's got her walking on eggshells, taking his anger out on her and destroying their shared belongings in the process, which he will no doubt blame her for when he wants to use an item he threw away. That's insanity, and the only thing original poster is learning is to fear incurring the wrath of her husband. This runs way deeper than dishes, and maybe it's time original poster reads, "Why does he do that?" I don't agree with this guy's actions, but I also strongly disagree with your statement of if he sees dishes in the sink and it bothers him, he could simply clean them himself too. Imagine the genders are reversed and the man is leaving the dishes in the sink and the woman is fed up with having to take care of her husband like a child. Do you think it would be appropriate or go over well if you told her to simply take care of them herself if it bothers her so much? No. We simply don't know enough info here, but it's very possible the husband's been asking Op to change for a very long time, and at a certain point it shows a deep lack of consideration for the husband that the wife is still doing this. Again, I don't agree with his actions. But I don't think original poster is blameless here. Thank you very much for watching. Put likes, write comments, and wait for new videos on the channel.